Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Alrighty, let's see if we can begin. Alrighty, we're going to start off this session. This is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. I'm going to start off with this session going through what I currently have, and then I'm going to kind of play catch up. So right here is my logo, but it's also drooling. Drooling is day 6. So this is kind of what I came up with day 6. But to start at the beginning, already, I have number 1, which was poisonous, and I have the octopus, the poisonous octopus. Usually they're this big, but this time I made it like ginormous over this guy right here, my little merman here. Day 2 was tranquil, and eventually I want to color everything in. It's just trying to keep up and keep going. Day 3 was roasted, and I had the queen. It says do not roast the queen or she'll roast you, and I got a little gesture on the back here. She's pointing at you, and she's making that choking motion with her neck as she's about to take you out. So watch what you say and how you perform. Day 4 was spell. And this was like a songstress kind of casting, I want to say, a love spell with music, using her voice and her songs and her spell. Day 4 was chicken, and I pretty much had a dandy in a chicken costume, and everybody's sparkling so far. Also, day 6 was drooling, so I did the Inktober idea, but I also, the first one I came up with that I couldn't really, I don't know, I just wasn't, some of these I feel, and then some of them I really just don't like these prompts. So you could tell the ones that I was really getting into versus the ones that are like, whatever, and I just drew something and inked it in. This is another kind of whatever. I came up with the idea on the fly. I wanted to draw like a shadow monster drooling, but then I came up with a hamburger, and I'm like, okay, well, have it eat something. Well, sloppy joes make you kind of messy, so I have a manwich sandwich. They also call sloppy joes manwiches. So I threw a whole bunch of little men in there, dangling outside the sandwich, and blood is kind of dripping and stuff like that. But I just trying to figure out if I even want to color it in, but that was my contribution for drooling after my Inktober idea. Day 7 was exhausted, so I jump up this way, and I kind of want everything to kind of blend in with each other, so I'm going to be throwing aspects of like maybe musical notes this way, or fire, things like that, just surrounding each one of them that leads to the next. I just want some sort of cohesion, but you know, the only thing they all have in common is this prompt list from Inktober. So anyway, here's exhausted. It's a unicorn sitting on a rainbow, tired from having this little girl telling him what to do. And so he's kind of upset. And I was really feeling this one. It really just like spoke to me, and I wanted to do just a little bit more. When I got to star, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for star, so I have a woman blowing star bubbles. And at the last minute, I was inspired by a woman I saw on the bus. She had these coils that came in front of her face, and the rest of her hair was kind of like put up underneath it. But I'm like, you know what, let's just go all coils. So I just threw all kinds of like swirls and coils on her hair. I started coloring it on the bus. Well, actually, while I was at a doctor's appointment, I started coloring, and I wanted to see as darker skin tones that I can possibly make. So this was like the darkest I could get with the colors that I had, but I'm thinking I'm going to try to go darker. I don't know. I just want to try to capture the spectrum of skin tones. And then right here was Precious. It's a little girl who was trick-or-treating in her little bear costume, and she's got a little trick-or-treat thing, little bag, and she's looking at the stars. Let's see, day 10 is flowing, and my idea was to have, do water, but everybody was doing water or something like that. But instead of water, I wanted to I saw this pose, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a flowing pose. And it was two dancers, New York Dance Ballet, I think. I have to look up the source again, but they were in this pose, and I couldn't quite capture it. And then I started just kind of sketching it out with a pen, but I still wanted to incorporate water somewhere in between here. So I was thinking about incorporating water, or just finishing up the pose from right here, and that would give us the flowing figure 8 type thing going on, infinity symbol. So I'll be probably working on that as well. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of let my my markers flow to wherever I decide to go. Okay. Day 11 was cruel. And one of my first instincts was to come up with someone torturing another person, a person stepping on another person, someone stepping on an animal. And then I got to the point where, it could get even darker. Cruel can go as far as you want it to go. I didn't want to glamorize Hitler. I didn't want to glamorize lynchings and things like that. I didn't want to wear something like that. So I wanted something like a last act of defiance. So I have a little ant here in a magnifying glass, and he and his little ant mates are being fried, and he's giving the middle finger, such as it is, to whoever's trying to fry him. I really didn't want to color this in. I probably still don't want to color it in, but it's kind of like a last act of defiance type of thing before he himself dies. And I wasn't feeling cruel. I wasn't feeling whale. I was going to do a whale with Zentangles, and then I saw somebody else doing it, and I'm like, bump that. I just wanted to try to do my own thing, but whale isn't what I wanted to do. I'm not really into drawing animals so much. I'm more of like a human type of thing. And when I started coming up with other ideas, I already had this on the shirt. So that's my contribution for whale. Let's see, guarded. Guarded was going to be cute, but like I said, I'm not that great at drawing animals, and this came out looking like a bunch of ferrets than it did Pomeranians. But what I wanted to do was Cerberus, the three-headed dog guarding the gates of hell, but as a puppy. I'm like, oh, I could do the three-headed dog as being big and vicious and stuff, but nobody ever sees Cerberus as a puppy. You got to start somewhere. You got to start guarding something. Before you get the gates of hell, you got to start drawing something. So I have him guarding his own little feeding dish, and like big enough so it'll hold the 3 heads to eat. And I was just in the midst of coloring it before I had to stop and change buses. So I'll probably be finishing up this little Cerberus here, and then probably adding just a little bit more fur lines, and then I'm just going to call it. Because it was supposed to be a white Pomeranian, so maybe I can add a little something to it. But I chose a Pomeranian because they all had this weird, mean look on their face. I was going to do, what was it called? Chihuahuas? Because, they're little, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe Chihuahua would have been a bit too much. Okay, so that was guarded. And so today is clock. Today's the 14th. So today is clock. And one of my ideas was to come up with something to do with a clock. I was going to try to do 15 images on this shirt. So I'm going to have to bring this on the front, and then 15 to 16 on the back. So I'm going to do 14 here. I still haven't come up with what I want to do for a week yet. So I'm still going to be coming up with that idea. So instead of, I think I'll throw a week at the very bottom down here. A lot of these images seem weak to me. If only I should have just created a whole different prompt list. But I wanted to try to stick with this one, because it's fun to see what other people interpret the word to be, and how they're inspired. So I'm going to put my idea here, in this area. I'm going to limit myself to what the hoop gives me and what's already on the shirt. So kind of working around it, within it. I do want to finish these arms, so I'm going to bring this down further. So we'll get a portion of, let's see, portion of the guys and a portion of the little bear girl. There we go. The trick-or-treater. Let's see, here it is, the cell. Okay. So I'm going to have this area be where I'm going to put my clock. Now I came up with I did come up with an ulterior or another prompt list, and I merged the two together because I figured that I would have a hard time with some of the words, but Halloween is I wanted to say the overarching theme of the second list that I came up with. First list was Inktober thing. So what I did is merge the two by the number, and for this one I came up with for my 14 was spiders. So somehow, some way, I'm going to incorporate a spider with a clock, and I think. And I do love drawing people. It's my go-to thing. I love it. Everything is either anthropomized and humanized, and it just holds my interest. It's what I'm into. And okay, so this is tight enough. Got my boards. Okay, so my idea was to have spiders on here in a clock, but let's see. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to draw it out first, or just go ahead and go for it, and whatever comes out on the shirt is what comes out on the shirt. I had a lot of fun with the exhausted one because I was able to erase and change things, move things around, drawing it on a piece of paper and then just transferring it onto the shirt. But it's also time consuming to do that. But it also gives me more direction. So there's my double-edged sword there. Okay, so my idea is to take a Grim Reaper and then have the staff have let's see, I was thinking about having the staff or the scythe with a clock on it. So it's like here's the spider is, and it has a spider on it, a black widow, and the hourglass will tell you when your time is up. So I wanted something like that to be the clock. And kind of like an in-your-face type of thing, maybe in perspective. So let me see. One of the things I like to do is pick up source images. I couldn't find anything doing what I wanted it to do, and the closest one or two I found, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to like improvise on my own. So I'm going to draw out on the shirt. See, the downside of drawing on the shirt is that you know, it looks messy. It looks messy if I'm not precise. And I put my pencil down and I don't know where I put it. There it is. Okay. All right. So let me see if I can get my rough of what I want this Grim Reaper to do. Let's see, I said it was going to be the scythe that has the spider on it, and I want it kind of in the handle. So the scythe is going to come down about right here. I want it to curl up just a bit more. Okay, and then we'll have it come down this way, since these things are pretty big. And it doesn't have to be straight. It can be kind of gnarly and bent a bit. Let's see. Coming off, let's see. Okay, there is the side, going a little bit behind her ear. Okay, have it kind of be bent. It doesn't matter. Let's see, about right here is where I want the spider to be. And I'm going to have its web. We'll have this web be like right here. And we'll have it kind of wrap around the scythe. Okay. Let me see if I can find a picture of a black widow. I'm gonna put some music on as well. Let's see, this, play. I don't hear it. Let me turn it up a little bit. We'll have it kind of wrap around. All right. Now, if that's too loud and you can't hear me over the music, let me know. And I'm going to look for a black widow. Just want to get the basic. Okay, so the shape of the hourglass, I can't tell if it's on the back or if it's on the belly. Oh, okay. It looks like it's on the belly. I always thought it was on the back. Okay. Okay, so let's do it on the belly. Okay. We'll make it relatively large so that we can see the hourglass a bit. So if she's pointing down, she's making your time go faster. I like it better on the back. Kind of like, what is that called? That other Black Widow spider. I forget what it's called, but it's pretty deadly. But it's on the back side rather than the belly itself. It's got like a little strip that comes up the back. And let's see. Okay. So what I'm doing right here is throwing out little legs, and I'll do the segments. Hi, piranha, redback. Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. One of those redback spiders. And I could make this a little bit more menacing looking. Instead of it just being fat like that, we could have kind of like a skull shape. Just for giggles. Trick of the light. How about that? And we'll just have like maybe some of the webbing or something like that in between the teeth or something like that. It's Halloweeny. Halloweeny-ish. And then it got like a little bit of, I don't know if that's like the mandibles or something like that. Okay. Piranha does their spiders. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And so, we've got, okay, so this is where the scythe is going to be, and it's the spider that kind of keeps it going. So if she goes up and then turns around, your life is, like this one here is your life is ending. We'll say that we'll have a little bit of red here and a little bit of sand here, and then have the dripping. Let me see, make that right here. I'm using Prismacolor Premier markers, but they're actually, they look like pens, and I bought these from Walmart. They're like maybe about $10 for a pack of 4. Doesn't, instead of it dripping, doesn't it like spew down? I'm thinking grains of sand or something like that. Okay, so that'll fill up that, and when that's gone, I guess that's when the spider will come out and attack, or the that's when your life ends. So you don't have to necessarily be reaped, you know, with the scythe. I don't know. Sometimes when I draw, I try to make sense of stuff that I draw just to justify it. Let's see, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. I'll give this a little gnarly spider, and then we'll bring this down even further. That way she has something to go up and down on. And let's see, I'm all about female empowerment, so I'm going to have the Grim Reaper be feminine. I was going to have a dude hold it, but you know, the Grim Reaper is always shown as a dude, so let's see. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a very weird shirt. Ooh, I should have had, there we go. We'll have a little bit of webbing coming out here. We'll throw some eyes here, and here, and here, and here, here. I have no idea how many eyes these guys have, but that's okay. We'll just go with it. Oh, that'd be cool if there was an eye here. Alright, so that's the start of that. And we'll bring this out, and maybe we could be a little decorative. Throw that in there like that. I was looking at one person's YouTube channel, and they're like it's a good thing to draw or sketch with a marker or a pen or an ink rather, and I'm like, sure, until you want to erase. It's like, ooh, this should have came out further. Okay, so I was going to bring that down. This will be web. All right, going down. Okay, now hopefully this doesn't look too lame. Let's see. We'll have more of it. There we go. Little strings here. We want it to kind of blow in the breeze. We'll have the breeze going this way. Okay. Let's see if we can put some red on here. Oh, hopefully this one isn't dry. Nah, this one's just right. And I think instead of it being a black spider, completely black, I'll have it with some of these. Let's see, where do I want it to be highlighting? So the light, maybe we'll have the light hit this way. So this will be light. We'll let the eyes be black. Just throw a little bit of purple in there for highlight. I have a black. I should. Okay. Oh, I hate when this is small. Okay. I gotta remember to stay large. I should have made this all very much larger. But I am dealing with space restrictions. I gotta keep in mind, I gotta get all 31 images on here. I mean, I don't have to. I mean, I could digress and put it onto something else, but where's the fun in that? Okay, so just lightly throwing in some lines. I'll come back over with a white marker. Oh, this is going to be weird. Maybe I need two different color reds. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Because I want the hourglass to kind of stand out. I think I'll what do you call it? Highlight it with white. Maybe that might help. That's another thing when you're drawing on the fly and you're already inking it in. It's like you're going to have to improvise, or rather, I'm going to have to improvise on what I'm going to do next. Yeah, if you have any questions, I'm monitoring the chat. So just let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I should get it within a few seconds of you updating or adding. Let's see. And I want the web to be kind of sparse. Let's see. It has to be strong enough to support her weight. Now the cool thing about these markers is that they don't wash out. Even these, the Prismacolor pens that I use for inking, they don't wash out. This right here, I'm using a, what are they called? Tulip fabric markers. They're the fine points. Let's see, I don't want it to be. Okay, my web should be a little straighter, but. Okay, we'll have this come down. This will all be web, and then, okay, so let's get the other person in here. Okay, and I need them at a distance. So here is the head, or yeah, no, right down here. This will be the head. Okay, this is the hand. You gotta be strong enough to hold it. And we'll give them fat bones. When they say I'm big boned, gosh darn it, I am big boned. Let's see. We'll have it be a gnarly stick. We'll even have a little bit of parts as if it just got cut off of a really bad tree. There we go. Okay, so there's the arm there. And do I want the head to face upwards or downwards? See through the bones here. I always liked like Lady Death. I used to read that comic book a lot. So I could do like a Lady Death type of character. And do I want her at an angle? Let's see, this is the arm. I don't want to make her too small. Everywhere I make a mistake is probably going to end up being the cowl and colored in. Let's see, where... Let's see. Gosh, it's If she's holding it upwards, or I can have it held down. Let's see. But I know this is definitely where I want everything here to be. And she's going to do it with one hand. I guess it would make sense to have a black widow with a female. Let's see. Should have come for Jewel. We'll have it blow this way. We'll have like a wind kind of blow. Let's see. Where do I want her to be? Do I want her to be this way? I could readjust and move this way. Give me more space. Even though it's cheating, I always want to stay within the circle. Do I want her to face? Yeah, I do want her to face whoever is going to get it. So that'll be the angle. Do I want her to aim up or down? Let's see. I'll have her this way. There was a, what was that called? It was a Flash cartoon that I had seen called Zombie. The female zombie looked damn good. And the main character asked her about that, and she goes, well, you know, male zombies always let themselves go. You know, and I'm like, you know, that kind of makes sense, you know. Well, I think I'll have a pretty death. That would be a nice, let's see, oh, yeah. We'll have a pretty death here. That's a nice title. Let's see. We'll give her cleavage and stuff too. Why not? Just because. Okay. Oh, the music has stopped. Let me put some more music on. Okay. All right. Let's see. I am going to find. Okay. Where's my other one? I want to use a different pen. That way I have a little bit more control over the lines on the face. Here we go. This is a good one. The one I was using before was a brush marker or brush pen. I'm going to use the 0.05 of this version, and it works really well on t-shirts. Not so much if it's not big. Like, I shouldn't draw smaller than the tip of my pen, because I can't get any smaller unless I use a different one. Hold on, let me see. I've got one more that is a size smaller, but it catches. But it'll allow me to do like eyelashes and things like that, and better detail. Let's see. I think I'll use a source image for this one. Ooh, I like that hair. Okay, I'm going to use a source image for this one. Oh, it's catching. Yeah, 0.5 is way better than the 0.00, what is this? 0.005. Okay. I should have made it a little bigger. Shame on me. Let's see, and the pencils that I'm using to draw, this is a 2B pencil. I had got this in part of a set at a dollar store. I was like freaking out that dollar stores have art supplies. I mean, like art supplies. Like I found, besides my glitter, I found a set of drawing pencils with charcoal. I saw acrylic paint. I mean, it's like in a slightly better brushes. And I was like, wow, they're stepping up their game. So it makes it a lot easier. 2B, any B pencil, so that you can at least see the lines. And once you color it and whatnot, sometimes it rubs off, and then it'll come off in the wash after a few washes. So I'm not really worried about the pencil lines. It may take a few washes, but it'll definitely wash out. Best bet is if you're not sure of your lines, to just go ahead and draw it on a piece of paper and then transfer it, because when you stretch it across the hoop, it's definitely it becomes transparent. So like if I wanted to, I could trace something right underneath it, and I probably wouldn't even need a light. Let me see, as an example. Let's see. Like you've got something like this. I'm going to put this underneath just for giggles. And then if I wanted to, I could trace that onto the shirt. So it's pretty cool. The white t-shirts are pretty awesome for that. Downside is white gets dirty really easy. When you buy it from a pack, like I bought these shirts from a pack of shirts, and they're really flimsy. They're really cheap because they're meant to be worn on the inside of your shirts. Let's see, and some of the ones that I've bought have holes in them, just like little tiny holes, little imperfections. So I guess that's how they can get away with selling them at a cheap rate. But on the whole, it's like, oh my god, I love these. I love this. The shirt's thin enough to do this, but I think you can even get away with it if you pull it enough, but not too much, because if you pull it too much to where you can really see underneath, because you can see the little lines and striations in here, it looks kind of weird. The light hits it just right, and you can see the dark pad that I have underneath, or even just the shadow. And it might be a little disturbing on the eyes, but you can get away with doing a lot of interesting things. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But just be careful about pulling it too tightly, because if you pull it too tightly, it'll distort once the shirt comes back to its regular shape. Okay, now this here is a graffiti fabric marker. These are the ones that I initially would use in my earlier shirts, my earlier video shirts. Let's see. Let me scroll down. I'm liking my source image. Okay, there we go. We'll have her. I haven't decided what I want to do with this arm. I'll just leave it like this for now. We'll give her bosoms, but she has no hand, which is really funny. We'll give her a really nice long fingernail. I'm looking at an image of Nicki Minaj, and she's got this really interesting outfit on, but it's got these really huge buckles. And so what I'm going to do with the buckles is I'm going to change them into skulls. There's one right here. I should change them into spiders, but skulls seem kind of cool too. Take down the, let's see, and then we'll give her a cowl. She's got a bit of a widow's peak here. Her hair comes down like this. But what's cool about her hair is it's got streaks of blonde in it, which is really cool. So I'm going to show those. Oh, Tannenbaum, really? Next. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can get a little cowl action going on. Ooh, that's a nice one. Let's see. See if we can fix her outfit a bit. It's funny. Nicki Minaj likes doing the Barbie doll thing. Be funny if this was like a pink cowl instead of black. I'm gonna have a pretty death. We'll do that Lady Death thing where they have this big swoop. But it only goes like around one side. With all the controversy that's going on between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, it'd be funny if it was like Nicki Minaj reaping Cardi B. That would be kind of funny. Not that I like to see two women going at it like that, but I don't know, it might make an interesting shirt to show the rivalry. Okay, now this here is a Zig fabric marker in flesh tone. This actually has to be, what's the word? Heat. You know, you have to apply heat for it to stay. So by the time I'm done with this shirt, I'm going to have Mod Podge on some parts because of the glitter, and I'm going to have to apply heat with an iron on some of the parts that use this particular marker. The other markers are not heat sensitive, where they, in order for it to heat set, you'll have to like apply heat to it, but the other ones are pretty good like that. Now if I don't apply heat, the color is still there, only it turns yellow instead of being like a flesh tone. I'll bring this up higher. And this one has a brush tip, which is really great for blending. And I usually use this kind of like an undercoat or a, what is the word? A color just to mix some of my other colors with. Right now it's kind of like a yellowish tone. And then when I throw another color in it, it'll either dull it or brighten it, depending on the tone, the color that I use. And I would use one of my other fabric markers in addition to this. Sometimes I would use 2 or 3 different types of fabric markers to get the tones that I want. So it's really good to have a variety of markers to draw from. I think I'm going to draw another version of this, but on a larger version, probably on a bag instead. And then I'll put like lots of glitter and stuff. I don't really like putting too much glitter on a t-shirt. Not that I'm afraid it won't stay, it's just that it might be uncomfortable to wear. Let's see, I'm gonna bring this down. Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of these prompts, I should have like made it like into a diva thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe like famous singers or famous actresses, and then having them be parts of the prompt. Like Precious could have been Gabourey Sidibe. This one here I've got is Nicki Minaj. Another one could have been, you know, just different characters. Oh gosh, I guess it's not too late to do that. I mean, it's not over. And I think it might be kind of cool. Let's take the same ones, the same prompts that I've got. I don't know which superstar would have drooling Or I could just have her fans drooling after her. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Fascinating, fascinating. Let's see, we'll give it a little bit of a lip here. This is underneath the spider. And we'll have her outfit hold some of the cowl here. So it's not necessary to outline in black, but it really helps to make it stand out, especially if you've got a lot of images here that have a lot of detail, and it's hard to see those details clearly without having to stare. I didn't have enough money at the time to do 31 different t-shirts. But maybe next year I'll save up and better prepare and just like collect 30 t-shirts or 30 things for this particular challenge. Okay, now some of this I have to let dry just a smidge in order for it to, so it won't smear. Let me give it a darker outline. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a very strange shirt. You go from pretty glittery witches to a cutesy little girl in a bear costume to Nicki Minaj's death. That's pretty death. Maybe if I come up with another one I can have an ugly death. So we'll make this outfit part of, like the front part here, part of the whole front of it, and then the rest of it's like a flowing gown. And now this would have been a great flowing. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but it is drying yellow, and I'm going to see if I can add a little bit more of the skin tone. I think this skin tone is closer to the skin tone I really need to get here. And then I'll use like brown for the hardcore shadows. It's a cute cartoon of her. Another cool thing about this is it's got more of a precise tip. This Zig fabric color permanent fabric marker. It's pretty cool. Need to be a little bit more generous with her eye makeup here. Okay. Now that would be funny. This is a pretty death. Let's see. I was looking for this. Alright, let's see. I'm going to use another brown. This is the Arteza fabric marker. I've been using a lot of these. This is chocolate. Chocolate is the lighter of the two browns. The other brown is like a black, deep dark black. That's coffee. Okay, and if I hit it fast enough, I can get it to blend. Now this thing here is a CoverGirl Perfect Blend eye pencil, but I use the tip here because it's got like this fabric marker type, not fabric marker tip. It's supposed to be for skin, but it's really interesting on fabric. Just bringing it down a little bit without tearing up the fabric. And it seems to work pretty good. It's doing what I want it to do. You can blend your colors together as long as they're wet enough to do it. The more you saturate your colors, the more that you can get movement, and the longer I believe that they'll last. So the more saturated color you have on here, the better. So if you have to, let it dry a little bit and then come back to it. Let me see. Bring this down a bit. And some colors, they can blend together on their own just by putting them on top of each other while they're wet. You just got to be very careful. If you put too much on, just drop your whatever border thing that you're using on the back of it down so it doesn't bleed too much. And just go ahead and blend it out and then let it dry, unless you want to throw more color on there. Alright, I've got to use the restroom for a second, so I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back.